When we look into the royal family of Africa, especially, we realize that a lot of the African attire, especially for the kingship side, they're usually depicted with the red color. We understand that a lot of the kings are usually clothed with the color red. Have anyone really wonder why the color is usually used as part of the royal family attire, especially from different parts of the country, including the Oba of Benin, even the Ulu of Wari or Ulu of Ishakiri, even some other royal family all over the places. They always tag them as the red cap chief, and also the king attire. Sometimes they usually have the color with the golden color crown, but basically a lot of the color are usually red in color. And sometimes they mix up their colors with that of they're clothed with the red color as well to their body. But there's a far more meaning to this one, as we see, because what here we should realize that a lot of those attires are also not the same thing with other nationals. For example, the British royal family usually have their crown to be purple color. So let's go deeply into this why the color red is used. If you look at the rainbow usually has a light which is vibrating in different spectrum, and when they disperse, we see them separated into the various colors from red to orange, depending on the wavelength of that particular light. And if that's be the case, we realize that red is usually vibrating at a very low frequency compared to the last color of the color spectrum, which is purple, vibrating at a very higher frequency. So the lower the vibration, the more it hits to the red color. If the vibration of the light is very, very high, it hits to the purple color. And if that be the case, which means a lot of those colors we see as red, we usually depict as which indicating of the red color, usually means that the king wearing a red crown indicates a very low vibration. And we should take this into cognizance, because if that is the case, that means the head is usually from the African attire, the head becomes a low vibrating royal attire. And outside that case, red, orange, yellow are usually regarded as infrared. Then the color blue, violet, indigo, and purple, whatever the case may be, are usually ultraviolet because they vibrate of a higher frequency. So it will be a contrast. So it will be a contrast for the British royal family to have their attire to be purple color, which is of a higher vibration. When you vibrate higher, you become a kind of a spirit entity. When you vibrate lower, you become like that of a matter. Okay, we usually have the spirit over matter, not the matter over spirit. Every living entity wants to vibrate to a very higher frequency that makes it to become a spirit. This is one reason why you see the British royal crown is usually placed on a red platform, which means the purple over the red, which is mean the spirit over matter, because matter is usually indicated with the red and the spirit is usually indicated with the purple color. So it should be indicative of the fact that it will be wise enough that our royal attire, even in Africa, shouldn't be red color, shouldn't be the red color crown. It should be the purple colored crown, indicative of the fact that it is vibrating. It is a crown that is vibrating of a very higher frequency, just like the way the British is doing it. The Queen Elizabeth attire is usually purple. King Charles usually have the color purple as well as part of his king attire. So this also should resonate in every facet of our own individuality, that all our attires should, if we are to vibrate of a higher frequency, it should be purple. The color red indicates of the fact that it's more or less like shedding of blood, which is usually of low frequency. So it's the things usually of the heart from the vibrating of a lower chakra. If we look at the chakra system, we also realize that the crown chakra is usually purple, and the the lowest chakra, which is the root chakra is usually red, indicative of the fact that the crown itself ought to be purple color, and the lowest frequency that we should have, which should be on the feet, should be on a red color. So it will not be ideal. I don't think it should be ideal for the African royal family should be having their crown to be a red cap attire, like what we do to a lot of the southern part of Nigeria. A lot of the cap they put on is usually red color cap. They call them the red cap chief. So we should rethink this particular model and make sure to see if there's any meaning to the idea of wearing a red crown rather than put on a purple crown in many cases. So having said that, we should now come to the realization that all our crown system should be revisited, especially when we consider that the rainbow color is part of the spectrum color we should respect, in terms of colors of their spectrum should vibrate from red to purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, indigo, and violet. So these are the color spectrum that we should respect and put them in the higher vibration. So if the color with the highest vibration is the ultraviolet, which is in purple, we should respect it to put the color purple on as a crown, just like the British royal family does. If we are using the red color as a crown, as indicative of the fact of so many African traditional rulers, if we're putting our crown to be red, it's indicative that we are always on the survival mode, which makes the British which exhibit that animalistic behavior. Blue, like we have the blue sky, should be what we seek up to. Like we have the blue sky, the violet, and the purple itself. All are colors that are above the earth. All the colors above the earth are usually from blue, the violet, the indigo, the purple are usually above the earth. The ones that are down are usually below the earth, are usually red and orange. Yellow is indicative of the fertility part of us, like what you see in the Oshun, like the water itself indicates Oshun. This is the more Oshun. This is the more reason why Beyonce, who sang the Yoruba song of Oshun, is putting on yellow itself. It's all indicative of the idea of a low chakra until the rebirth of humanity. So we should try as much as possible to follow up with this particular crowning system. Either we shift to the purple color crown, or we find another meaning to what we have already. I believe the British royal family should be much more respected.